Hey guys, we're back in the garage here today. Last video we sort of mocked in the rear seat. I'm thinking before I get too far ahead of myself, I'm going to take that quarter trim panel off and get going on the window motor modification. I have done this side already. I got this one working pretty good. I did have a huge problem I ran into. So I figure I'll show you guys what I did on that side to correct it, and kind of show you guys if anyone else is thinking about doing this to their F-bodies. So yeah, we'll get started on that then. Okay, so I got the regulator tracking glass out of the quarter window, and if you guys remember my previous video on this, I tried this style motor on the driver's door, and I was successful in getting it to work, but the only problem is I wasn't able to find a right-left configuration. So I did change up to these motors, which come in a right and a left, and I was able to get those to work on the driver's door as well. So I just assumed I can get them to work on all the windows, so I bought 4 of them. So the problem that I ran into was if we look at how the regulator sits in the vehicle with the window track, you can see that the motor needs to go up top where the gear sits. And unfortunately, with the window track mounting bracket right there in the way, I am unable to fit these motors in any direction in there. And even trying to squeeze it in top ways, it's still way too big. So went back to Princess Auto, and lo and behold, they did have the opposite side of this motor, and they only had 1 of them. Out of the 30 that I went through, they only had the 1. So that one is installed on this side, and this one I'm going to get installed on this side, on the right side. So this thing actually fits in there, kind of just like that, and everything bolts together really good. It's still a little tricky getting it to fit, but I'll show you what I do to make it work. And yeah, so right now what I'm going to do is do the same thing I did on the other regulator, drill this mechanism handle thing out, and then what I'm going to do is cut this whole top of the regulator off so I can expose the gear, and then I'll bring you guys back and show you how I get it all to fit right. So, alright. Okay, so I got the gear mechanism off, and I chopped the big portion off from the top of the regulator right off the top right here. So next thing on the agenda is we're going to get this bolted back in the car, minus the glass, and then I'll show you what we do next. Alright, so I got the everything back in position, the regulator and the track, and I threw the motor up in there as well. You can see that it sits up in between, like the motor section fits up in between the track brace, and then the motor comes down and hits the gear. So the next step is I need to make some shims that'll actually shim the motor the depth that I want it to be, and then drill some holes through this plate and bolt everything together. Now I know you're thinking that this structure is weak and it's going to move when that motor is on, and you're absolutely right. So let me get this set up, and then I'll show you how I corrected that. So okay, so I got my holes drilled in the proper location. I made my my bushings or spacers to keep my motor where I want it, and now what I'm going to do is take it all back apart, and I'm going to cut a piece of steel that will fit in this area, and then I'll reach around from the other side, and I'll dab all my hole locations and then get them drilled out. And what I'll do is I'll reassemble the whole thing on the table. You guys can have a better understanding on how it's going to work. Yeah, basically the regulator, the track, and the motor are all going to be connected as one through that steel plate, and it's going to work. It's going to work great. So okay, we'll be back. Okay, so I got my plate made up. I got the holes drilled, and you can see all my holes line up perfectly. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not, but what I'm going to do now is go get everything assembled on the table and show you exactly how that works. So we'll be right back. Okay, so I got it all bolted together. We can just imagine that there is a inner structure that's going to sit here where obviously everything's bolted to, and this plate will be on the outside sandwiching that inner structure. So got the regulator bolted up, I got the track rope bolted up, and I got the motor bolted up. The only thing I got left is shorten my bolts. They're just a tad too long, but that's not a big deal. But we'll give her a shot here and see what happens. So you can see it works pretty good, both directions. So now what we're going to do is get everything bolted back into the car, minus the spring, and we're going to see if it goes up and down with any issues. If everything is good, I'll take it back out, install the spring. This is a little bit tricky to install because we took that gear that held everything together, and the motor we cannot install all as one assembly. We got to do it all in sections. So you got to be careful when we do the springs. So I'll walk you guys through it anyways. But right now I'm going to get this back in the car, and we're going to try it with the glass on it. Now there is an order on how to install this. I find the easiest thing first is just install your metal plate, your bushings, and install your motor first. Everything else will just bolt right up to it. And trying to do it the other way, it's pretty pain in the ass. So we'll do this here. Alright, so everything's bolted in, and we're going to give her a try here. So here we go in the up position. We'll switch her down. So yeah, that seems to be working pretty good. And I got no flexing going on in this area at all. So I think that'll work pretty good. So now I got to take it back apart. I have to put that counterweight spring on, and the tricky part with that is once you have the regulator out, you can actually, since there's no gear from the crank anymore, you can rotate that whole assembly, line up the spring, and then rotate it back. And about halfway where you want it, there's going to start being a lot of resistance. I found the best way is kind of crank it so where it's not too bad. Squeeze it with your hand as you assemble it, and if you can get one bolt lined up, everything will just kind of, you can almost leverage the whole thing right into position and get the other bolts in. It's going to be kind of hard to show exactly, but that's the gist of it, I think. So, but I am still going to take this all apart. I want to clean inside here, and I want to clean the window, clean it all the way down, and hopefully get it tinted, and then I can finish this quarter trim section here. I got to extend the wire around so I can catch it in the center of the console, and then once I put the trim panel back on, that's it. I don't have to take it off anymore. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the updated version of the quarter windows. They do not work with those motors. If by some chance somebody can get them to work, please make a video. But other than that, alright, till the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.